I know that a lot of people coming to my channel have come from one of my videos that has done really well, and it's about not working, right? And escaping the 9 to 5 matrix, and you don't need a job, like you just have to work. And a lot of people, I believe, that have seen those videos are maybe people that are not so familiar with the power of the mind and the power of your beliefs. And so I can tell that they're really struggling with the concepts, and it's frustrating to them. And they're getting like combative with me. They are angry that I would even propose such preposterous ideas. And I think that people who have been with my channel since I started it, and people who are more here for the personal growth and spiritual content, are more familiar with this, and they understand that we create our reality, and we are literally designing our lives with our beliefs and our thoughts and the emotion that's connected to those thoughts. So I want to talk about that today because I think it is so important. What if I told you that half the things you believe about yourself, about your potential, and what's possible for you are completely made up? Okay, things are not true because we believe them. We believe things that we think are true. Most of the beliefs running your life are not even yours. In fact, I would say almost all of them are not. Think about this. We're not born with any beliefs. All of them are programs running. And we either inherited them from our parents, from other influential people in our lives, or from our own experiences. We created beliefs based on how someone treated us, things that people said to us. But the way that we end up internalizing a lot of our experiences has to do with our upbringing and our sense of self and our self-esteem that we developed usually as a result of what was modeled to us by our primary caregivers. So usually that's our parents. So think about this. If you haven't reflected on your life, the way that the people who molded and shaped you into the person that you are today, those critical people, those people that had the most influence over you as a child, how did they think about themselves? How did they think about life? How did they think about work, about their job? How did they think about money? How did they think about relationships? And what was modeled to you? That is where your beliefs came from, 90%. And then the rest from your firsthand experiences elsewhere in your own relationships or with your own career or with your own finances. Just because you believe something does not make it true. And if your beliefs are holding you back, which they probably are, because if you feel like you're being held back or you're stuck, it is because of your beliefs, you have a responsibility to change them. So the first thing that you need to do is think about a belief that limits you. Maybe you think that you're not smart enough. Maybe you think that you're not attractive enough. Maybe you think that you're not worthy of a relationship. Maybe you think that you're too old to find someone. Maybe you think you're too old to start a new career. Maybe you think that you're just not capable of success. Maybe you believe that people like you don't make a lot of money. Now explore where that belief came from. Who told you that? Where did you hear that? Think about it. When did you decide that was a fact? Because the wild part is that you don't question it. How often are you questioning these things? We all walk around assuming that our beliefs are true, that we know things, that we know anything about anything, and you accept it as reality. We all do this with our beliefs. If someone told you you could make $1 million in the next 3 days, you would say that's absolutely false. No one can do that. I could never do that. But here's the thing. I guarantee you people have done that. But the truth is that your brain doesn't care if a belief is true. All it's doing is looking for evidence to support what you believe. All the time, we are looking for evidence in our external projection for examples that will affirm the beliefs that we have. So if you have a belief that it's really hard to make money and everything's getting so expensive, and with inflation, no one can afford anything, and it's impossible to get ahead, and everybody's living paycheck to paycheck, and you have to work really hard to make a lot of money and I'm just not working enough. I just got to put in more hours, or I need to find a job that pays better because I just can't keep up and I've got so many bills and when am I ever going to pay off all this debt? You're constantly going to be looking for examples in your reality, in your experience that you're creating for where that's true. So you will literally you'll attract actually more financial distress. You'll attract more financial burden, maybe a devastating event that will cost you a bunch of money. You'll manifest car troubles that are going to cost money. You'll manifest getting let go from your job. You'll manifest other people in your life that also struggle and bitch and complain about the same things, because that's going to edify your belief structure about money. Do you notice this? Notice the people that you spend time around. Notice the people that you were raised by, and notice the way that they talk about life, the way they talk about money, the way they talk about relationships, all the things I mentioned. And this is why I made that video about it being important to leave, never go back to old towns, relationships, and jobs. A part of that is that so many of the disempowering beliefs, all of the disempowering beliefs that I had were from my upbringing and from the people who were familiar to me and from my hometown and that environment, that because that's just what I was raised in. If I want to break free of that, and if I want to adopt new beliefs, it's really hard to do that while staying in that limiting environment with people who don't believe that they can create anything more for themselves, and that they just believe that they have these limitations on them and they were dealt this hand and that's what you get. And it's just a really defeatist mentality. If you're someone who wants to rise above that, you have to change your environment. You need to get around people who are setting an example of what you want for yourself, because that is your new belief. And in order for you to know that it's possible, you need to see examples of it. You need to surround yourself with examples of it being true. Because I promise you, for every disempowering, negative, limiting belief that you have that you think is true, I can find evidence of why it's not. And I can find evidence of people doing exactly what you believe is not possible. And that's how I know and can say with confidence that we all create our own reality. And you're creating one that's limiting you and that's keeping you stuck. But you're choosing that. And you're choosing it because if you were to acknowledge the fact that it isn't true, and if you were to acknowledge the examples, the people that are living in a way that you don't believe is possible, then you would have to acknowledge your own lack of agency. And you would have to acknowledge your role that you're playing in maintaining the status quo in your life. Because once you see what is possible and you acknowledge it, now suddenly you're saddled with a lot of personal responsibility to change your life if you want it to change. And in addition to finding examples with people outside of yourself, find examples in your own life, because those exist too. So let's say you think that you're not good at relationships and you only attract toxic relationships. Has there ever been a time when you had a relationship that went well, even for a moment? Maybe you believe that people like you don't succeed. People that come from the town that you came from, they don't make a lot of money. Go find one person who did, because I promise you that person exists. If one person has done it, your belief is already invalid. That's the point I'm making here. Why would something be possible for one person and not for you? And don't come at me with, oh yeah, not everybody can become a blah, blah, blah. And the statistics are this. I don't care about the statistics, because the reason why that person succeeded, it's not luck. It's not chance. Okay. Those things don't exist. To me, they don't exist, and coincidence doesn't exist. None of it. That person, those people created the life that they wanted for themselves. They had a delusional self-belief. And that is what you need to get what you want in your life. And the more proof that you find, so you start collecting proof, the harder it's going to be for your old belief to survive. I will give an example from my own life. Water. Yum. That I had very low self-esteem when I was younger. And I'm sure I must have talked about this in my other videos about confidence and self-esteem. but I was always on this personal growth journey since since I was maybe 20. And so I was always doing all these practices, like I mentioned in my last video, or I don't know how I'm going to post these videos, but about Byron Katie's The Work. And I would do these exercises. And in Byron Katie's The Work, you take a belief, a statement, a judgment, and you write it down. And then you ask the question, is it true? And most people will say, yeah, it's true. You believe it. You say it's true. Can I know for certain that this is true? And then you usually end up getting to the point where you're like, no, like, I guess I can't be certain that's true. And then you ask yourself, like, who would I be? Or then you do a turnaround. Okay, I had to look it up. It's a self-inquiry method, and it's designed to challenge and dismantle limiting beliefs that you have. So the first question, is it true? Be honest. Do you know that this is absolutely true? Okay, second question. If you say, you might still say yes, because you might be very stubborn with your beliefs. Second question, can you absolutely know that it's true? Beyond doubt, beyond perception. Do you have undeniable proof? Number 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? So what actually happens? What emotions come up? How do you treat yourself and others because of this belief? How do you show up in the world? What actions do you take because you have this belief? So if I believe that I'm ugly and hideous and unworthy, I might hide myself. I might dress in a way where I'm trying to hide. I might wear baggier clothing. I might not really take care of myself because I don't think that I deserve it. And I also might reject any compliments from people, anyone telling me that I'm beautiful, anyone complimenting anything about me. I might just think that they're doing it to be nice. I might brush it off. I might think that they feel sorry for me. I might also struggle to appreciate other people and appreciate other people's beauty. I might struggle to compliment other people because I'm so insecure in myself. I'm so hyper fixated on the way that I feel about myself that I can't even be present, and I can't appreciate or acknowledge other people, because what it does is immediately causes me to self-reflect. It's like putting a mirror up to your face, being reminded of the fact that I'm not as beautiful. I'm not that beautiful. I'm not as good as them. I'm not as deserving as them. So I'd rather just try not to acknowledge it. But then I lose a chance to connect with someone else, to bring joy to someone else, to just appreciate someone else. You can do the same thing about, I believe that, what's a stressful limiting belief? I'll never get out of debt. I'm going to be fucking broke forever. Is it true? No. Can you absolutely know that it's true? No, can't know that. How do you react, and what happens when you believe that to be true? You constantly live in a scarcity mindset, a mindset of lack. You are always anticipating negative things in the future. So you're fixating on negativity, on what could go wrong, and what new financial burden or catastrophe is around the corner that we're going to have to deal with. I might hyper fixate on bills that I have. I might stress about upcoming due dates for bills. I might only shop for discounted crap all the time. I might only buy cheap stuff because I think it's all I can afford. And I end up buying things that constantly need to be replaced because they break all the time and they're low quality. Then I create an environment where I am not surrounding myself in an environment that communicates abundance and wealth and support. I might miss out on experiences, or I might sacrifice experiences, or I might choose to experience things in a way that saves me money, right? And so I don't allow myself to really live in the way that I want to, because I'm punishing myself for not having enough money. I'm anticipating continuing to struggle with money, and I maybe tell myself in the future, when I have more, when I can finally save more, then I'll do this thing, then I'll live this way that I want, then I'll buy myself this item. But whatever it is that we are lending our energy to, that's what we're going to get more of, right? There are all these sayings that you hear all the time, and they're true. It's like, where your attention goes, energy flows. If you're constantly focused on scarcity and on lack, if you're constantly focused on, I'm getting older, I'm never going to find someone, I'm too old, nobody's going to want me. Oh my God, stop sending so much energy toward that thought and that belief that is not even true. You do the same thing with money. And the same thing with work. What you resist persists. And the last question that she asks in the work is, who would you be without that thought? Imagine your life. Imagine the actions you would take. Imagine your emotions if that thought didn't exist. Who would I be if I didn't believe that I was ugly? I would be someone who was so comfortable in her skin, and I would believe that I was beautiful, and I would dress in a way that I thought made me look even more beautiful, and I would be proud. I would stand tall. I would walk with confidence with my shoulders down and back and my chest up. I would take care of myself. I would take pride in the way that I look. And that's not a shallow thing to do. And who would I be without the belief that I'm never going to have enough money? Life is always going to be a struggle. I'll never pay off all this debt. I would be someone who was so comfortable in their life. I would be someone who trusted that I would always be provided for. I would be someone who was so generous with money. I would be someone who did the things that I wanted to do and desired to do whenever I wanted to do them, and money wouldn't be a factor influencing that decision. It would be, what do I desire to do? I would go on trips. I would stay in the hotel that I wanted to stay in. I would take myself out to eat. I would take myself for a special breakfast every once in a while. I would take myself and get my nails done. By the way, you would never think that I would be someone who had fake nails or was into that at all. And I'm really not, but I kind of am. Like, I secretly wish that I had nails and could have them all the time. Like, I'm a massage therapist. I just can't have nails, and I rock climb and all weightlift and all this stuff. I know girls weightlift with nails, but nothing that my lifestyle is not for nails, but I just really like them. But who would I be without the belief that no one's ever going to want me? I'm too old for a relationship, or I only attract these types of broken people. Like, who would you be without that thought? So literally imagine yourself someone and you don't have that thought. So replace it with a different thought. I would believe that I'm worthy. I would be so confident. I would immediately recognize if I went on a date with someone who was throwing up a bunch of red flags, and I would just let them go. I would leave. I would not go on a second date with someone like that, because I would know that I'm worth more than that. I would be confident that I can attract someone who is solid in themselves, has done work on themselves, and doesn't need me to be their mother and to fix them and to pick up the pieces of their lives and help them sort out what went wrong in their childhood and fix their brokenness. I would realize that's not my role. I'd attract someone who is also confident, is also present, also wants to live a life of abundance, full of just experiences and joy and passion. You start to get in that energy and feel what that would feel like. And after you answer these questions is when you do the turnaround process. And that's where you flip the belief to its opposite, or to another perspective that feels equally or more true. So the turnaround, it helps you to see that your original thought is not the only truth. And it opens up a more empowering way to view any situation in your life. So an example of the turnaround would be the original belief is I'm not good enough. The turnaround is I am good enough. And then you ask yourself, can I find examples of this being true? If I believe I'm not good enough and I said, oh yeah, it's true. And now I have the belief I am good enough. Right now I find examples that okay, yeah, oh, that is true because of this, because I achieved this, because I accomplished it. Now we get into the, what does it mean to be good enough? And is your value contingent on what you achieve and what you accomplish? But you find examples. I'm not going to get into that's too much for now, but you find examples of where that's true. And now for some beliefs, a better way to do the turnaround. So if your original belief was they don't respect me, this person doesn't respect me. The turnaround would not be they do respect me. The turnaround would be I don't respect me. Not they don't respect me, I don't respect me. So this is going to flip your focus inward. Are you treating yourself the way that you expect others to treat you? And another example, last example I'll give is, let's say your initial belief is they betrayed me. The turnaround is not they didn't betray me, because they betrayed you. The turnaround is I betrayed them, or I betrayed myself. So you have to find which one is more true. And you'll know, if you're honest with yourself, you will know. This is not about blame. It's about taking ownership and seeing where you might be part of the dynamic that you're experiencing that you feel that you have no control over. It's part of breaking out of a victim mentality because life is not happening to you. So honestly, I would encourage anybody to check out Byron Katie's The Work. On her website, you can download the PDFs to do the work, and she has the Judge Your Neighbor worksheets, which are very helpful. You have beliefs about other people, like this person, if someone's driving you nuts in your relationship or whatever it is. I did this once when I was dating someone because, when you start cohabitating with someone and all of a sudden it's all like amazing in the beginning and you're in love and you're all this infatuation and lust and oxytocin, and then you move in together and you cannot believe the way that they interact with a tube of toothpaste. Like, I'd never seen anything like it. So wasteful. And I still am. I'm kind of psycho about wasting resources. So like I use just the tiniest bit of like soap, or if I just use what is needed, and it makes my skin crawl if I see someone wasting things. I'll just leave it at that. We had an issue with the toothpaste. Let me just put it that way. And I literally did a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet on this because it was driving me insane. My feelings for this person were changing because of the way he was using toothpaste. That's insane. That's not okay. That's like, Caitlin, got to get right with yourself, girl. Like this is not a him problem. This is a you problem. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Is that how it goes? Taylor Swift? Yeah. So anyways, and then this process, like it creates a lot of emotional relief. So the first thing it does is that it's going to challenge like this rigid mentality that you have. And you're going to stop focusing on one fixed way of seeing things. Then it creates the emotional relief. You realize that all your suffering is caused just by a belief that you have, not by reality itself. And ultimately, it gives you back control. So instead of being a victim of a belief, you are actively choosing what to believe. Okay, so that was just what I wanted to say about Byron Katie's The Work. And now back to our processes, which are probably a lot of the things that I just mentioned when I was talking about The Work. A book, she has several books, and my favorite is Loving What Is, I believe. It's called Loving What Is. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so the next step, after you find proof that your belief is bullshit, you start to rewire your brain. Now, I did I wasn't planning on talking about Byron Katie, so sorry, because I just now interjected that into my outline, and now I might repeat myself a few times, so sorry. But you have to rewire your brain because the awareness alone is not enough. Here's where people mess up. They realize that their belief is false, but then they keep thinking the same way. Like, obviously, you can see why that would be an issue. You have to actively replace your old belief with something that is going to serve you. And you do this by repetition paired with emotion. You have to have the emotion. That's why also another good book that you may read is Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. Because this is about like manifestation, law of attraction, but it's you have to have the feeling experience, because that's the thing is your body and mind, they only know, or I shouldn't say that. Your mind and your brain, it only knows reality based on what's happening in your body. So you need to feel the emotions that you want to feel. This is where the visualization comes into play, and journaling and getting yourself into the feeling state of a person that has the life that you desire to have. That's it. That's the secret. So the same way that your brain originally learned the old belief, which was hearing it over and over again, feeling emotions attached to it, feeling the stress and the anxiety from your parents all the time, constantly worried about money, or the tension in their relationship all the time, and feeling that, and you feel it and you internalize it as a small child in your body. And that's why I'll talk about Bessel van der Kolk again, The Body Keeps the Score, and all the different books and the nervous system regulation stuff and somatic experiencing. Talk about Peter Levine's Waking the Tiger. Is that what it's called? Peter Levine, his book, I think it's called Waking the Tiger, but he's the one who created somatic experiencing, about how trauma is, but he did all this extensive research on trauma being stored in the body and studying animals in the wild, releasing and discharging trauma from the body. All this stuff is stored inside of us in the form of like emotion, energy in motion. So the same way that your brain originally learned these old beliefs, that's the same way that you're going to reprogram it. So you start feeding your mind the belief that you actually want. You're not going to do it one time, not twice. You're going to do it every single day. You're going to say it out loud, because words spoken out loud, please do not underestimate the power of the spoken word, and specifically of it being your voice. This is why I never buy, or while I do listen to like Neville Goddard, I will listen to stuff on YouTube. Like I'll listen to Alan Watts, or I'll listen to Neville Goddard, or I'll listen to all kinds of different people, Abraham Hicks. But for a lot of beliefs that you want to reprogram, record yourself saying these things and listen to them, because there's something about the power of hearing it from your own voice that makes it real for you, because you're hearing your own self speaking the belief that you want to have. I am beautiful. I am so worthy of the life that I've created, this life that is full of abundance and full of experiences that make me so happy, that's full of deep connected relationships. Like I love spending my time doing this, blah, 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 whatever. And you just narrate the life that you want for yourself, but from your voice, and then you listen to it. This is why a lot of people sell like a meditation or a manifestation bundle and these affirmations that you can listen to. Just make your own and visualize yourself living that life. Visualizing is so powerful, because visualizing it is going to help you get into the feeling state. Because if you can see it in your mind's eye as real, you can start to evoke the emotions associated with that vision. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Feel it as if it's already true. And also when you're speaking it, if you do any of these recordings, speak it as if it's true. Because your subconscious, it's dumb. Like it seems like a brilliant motherfucker, but it's dumb because it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. That's why one of the things that I was taught by one of my spiritual mentors, one of the first things he taught me was imagination is real. Imagination is real. Your subconscious takes in whatever you tell it. So tell it something useful. Okay, and then step 4 is to align your actions with your new belief. Obviously, you cannot just think differently, contrary to what a lot of manifestation people would tell you. There is a lot to be said for literally just focusing your mind on something. A lot of what people will teach you in manifestation, law of attraction world is you don't have to figure out the how, you just need to figure out the what. So what do you want? And you just focus on that, and the universe will align itself to create this reality that you desire for yourself, to co-create this vision that you have for yourself and your life and for what you desire. I do believe that's true. And I believe that action is necessary. Here's what I'll say. I believe it's true, and I don't believe that it is 100% true for every single desire that you have. And I don't believe that it's possible to know which of those things are going to manifest effortlessly without you putting in any work, and which are going to require effort, in which case you just need to apply effort all the time, because you don't know, because you're going to sit there wishing and hoping and praying that something comes into your life. First of all, there are so many things that you need to be open. You need to be open to receiving that. You need to be a match for the thing that you desire energetically, because if you desire something, but then if I desire a partnership with someone, let's say I want to date someone and I want us to exercise together, and I want us to eat really healthy, and I want us to go on hikes and go on backpacking trips, and I envision us like looking really sexy together, but I am sitting around eating like shit, like eating trash food. I'm not working out. I'm not even going for walks. I don't take care of myself. I don't sleep. Why would I ever be a match for that kind of a relationship? Like, you need to become the person that you want to attract. I'm sure that you've heard that before. So I'm talking about so many different things here, but it's because beliefs, they obviously affect like every single aspect of our lives. So yeah, I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about jobs. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about it all. And so, yeah, you need to become that person so that you are resonating on the same frequency. It literally is like tuning a radio. Like if you're over here on 96.3 FM, but you're trying to attract someone on 102.1, like how is that possible? You need to, the tuner, you're on different frequencies. So you'll just keep missing each other. Like you need to, if you desire this frequency up here, you need to attune to it. You need to change your frequency. And the way that you do that in our 3D reality is that you behave differently. You behave differently and you think differently. Therefore, you manifest differently. If you're going to replace I'm bad at relationships with I'm capable of deep, meaningful relationships, well, you need to act in alignment with that, because are you capable of it? I don't know. Maybe you need to go to therapy. Like maybe you need to go talk to someone. Maybe you need to work on your relational skills. Because if you suck at relationships, you can't just say I'm capable of deep and meaningful relationships if you're not. You need to recognize that lack in skill, and then you need to do something to change it so that you can attract what it is that you want. Small actions done consistently will reinforce the new belief until it actually feels like the truth for you. And I promise you, you can do this because I've done this with so many beliefs. Like I look back, I have found old journals of mine, like the Byron Katie's The Work worksheets. And it makes me cry reading the things that I believed because they're sad and they were so limiting and they were destructive. They were really unhealthy beliefs. I honestly I do remember feeling that way. It was so long ago that it's like, God, I just feel sad for that girl. That's crazy that I believed those things. That's so sad. So at the end of the day, you are choosing your beliefs. I don't care what you say. If it's true that your beliefs are shaping your reality, why in the fuck are you choosing ones that are holding you back from the life that you want? Make it make sense. Stop acting like your thoughts are facts. They're not. And please just start to take this life seriously. I don't care how ridiculous it seems to you or it sounds when I say that you deserve to love your life. We have this one precious life to live. It's not long. It is a very short time that we have here. You deserve to enjoy it. You deserve to realize your full potential. You deserve everything that you desire. You do, and you can create it. But you got to work on those beliefs. If you continue to struggle with this and you just want to talk to somebody one-on-one so I can virtually give you a smack across the face and talk some sense into you, you can book a one-on-one call with me in the description. Also, please join my email list, because what in the world would happen if they deleted my YouTube channel and I couldn't find you guys? I really wouldn't like that. So please get on there. I will not bother you. I promise. And otherwise, that is it. There's nothing else to say today. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.